What if the strongest hero in the country trusted the wrong people? During an important raid, everything looks like it's going according to plan. But while everyone is focused on fighting a powerful monster, a shocking betrayal changes everything. Let's see what happens. The story begins on the 8th floor of the tower, a frozen area called the Deadlands. Snow covers the ground as the Blue Zone Guild moves forward. Their leader, Kiojo Itsuki, gives a speech to motivate his members before the dangerous raid. As they continue walking, another group passes through them without stopping. They are the famous Blue Eyes Guild, led by Narukami Subaru, the strongest fighter in the country and the #1 ranked hunter. Itsuki happily greets Subaru. He explains that many different guilds have gathered because they heard Subaru would lead this raid. Most of them are hoping to clear the floor easily and collect valuable rewards thanks to Subaru's strength. Instead of saying much, Subaru takes out a legendary rank artifact and gives it to Itsuki. This special item can instantly restore half of a person's stamina if they push themselves beyond their limit. It is an extremely rare and valuable treasure. Itsuki is shocked that Subaru would hand over such an expensive item so easily. Subaru smiles and says it is for Itsuki's safety. He also asks him to rejoin the Blue Eyes Guild after the raid. If he agrees, he can simply return the artifact later. When Itsuki hesitates and doesn't answer immediately, Subaru tells him not to worry because the decision is completely up to him. Before the conversation can continue, a terrifying roar echoes across the snowy battlefield. Everyone freezes. The Floor Guardian has appeared much earlier than expected. The monster is revealed to be the terrifying Venom Dragon Hydra, a giant dragon with deadly poison and incredible power. Many guild members panic because they were not ready for the Guardian to appear so soon. Subaru stays completely calm. Lightning begins surrounding his body as he prepares for battle. The Hydra also starts charging a massive attack that could destroy everyone nearby. Itsuki quickly orders all the guild members to retreat. But Subaru doesn't move back. Instead, he pulls out his sword and rushes straight toward the giant dragon. With a single powerful slash, he cuts through the Hydra's attack as if it were nothing. The attack is completely destroyed, and even the Hydra is injured by Subaru's strike. Itsuki watches in complete amazement. He quietly says that Subaru truly hasn't changed. Behind Subaru, the members of the Blue Eyes Guild cheer loudly for their leader. They proudly say that all of his hard training has made him even stronger than before. One of Subaru's teammates becomes curious about the legendary artifact he gave to Itsuki. Subaru simply tells her that she will understand the reason very soon. He then announces that it is finally time to defeat the Floor Guardian and clear the cursed 8th floor once and for all. The Blue Eyes Guild charges forward together. As they leave, Itsuki watches them with a strange expression. Instead of cheering for them, he almost looks sorry. A few moments later, one of his own guild members approaches him and quietly says that everything is ready. Itsuki smiles. He calmly orders his people to begin their secret plan. Meanwhile, Subaru and his guild know nothing about what is happening behind them. They focus completely on fighting the Hydra. Every member works together as a team, except one female warrior who prefers fighting alone. She attacks the Hydra without waiting for anyone's support. When another teammate tells her to be careful, she confidently replies that this is simply her fighting style. The battle is going so well that some guild members even start making friendly bets about who will deal the most damage to the monster. As pieces of the Hydra's body fall from the sky, one support mage on the ground almost gets crushed. Even so, she tells everyone to keep attacking because she can protect herself. She immediately creates a huge magical barrier that blocks all the falling debris. But while she is focused on maintaining the barrier, someone quietly appears behind her. It is Itsuki. With a cold smile, he asks her one simple question. Can your barrier protect you from my sword? Before she can even react, his blade slices straight through her body. The attack is so fast that she has no chance to defend herself. As she falls to the ground, she weakly calls Subaru's name with her final breath. Subaru hears her voice and rushes toward her as fast as he can. But he is already too late. He arrives only to see his trusted friend, Itsuki, standing there with a smile, while holding the bloody sword. Subaru is completely shocked. He cannot understand why someone he trusted would betray them. Itsuki calmly tells him that now is not the time to look back. At that exact moment, the massive Venom Dragon Hydra suddenly appears behind Subaru with its giant mouth wide open, ready to tear the strongest hero apart. The chapter ends on this dangerous cliffhanger. After the battle, Subaru remembers the strange message every player received when they first entered the tower. The system had simply said that they were chosen by the tower and must climb to the top. No one knew who created the tower or why they had to climb it. People from many different worlds entered the tower, hoping to achieve their dreams. But no one had ever reached the highest floor. Back in the present, the battlefield has become a nightmare. The Hydra is finally dead, but Subaru's teammates are lying lifeless all around him. Blood covers the frozen ground, and he stands alone in silence. Breathing heavily, Subaru looks at the bodies of his friends. He blames them for not following his order to escape. Although they defeated the strongest monster, the cost was far too high. System messages suddenly appear before his eyes. He has been poisoned, which stops his body from recovering naturally. His fatigue level is also reaching its limit. Subaru knows that once his fatigue reaches 100%, he will die. Even if he somehow survives, the Blue Zone Guild is still surrounding him, making escape almost impossible. He asks Itsuki one question: "Why did you betray me?" Itsuki calmly walks toward him and admits the truth. For the past 10 years, he has been waiting for this exact moment. He says defeating Subaru fairly was impossible, so he used Subaru's own guild members as bait to distract him. Itsuki reveals that he always lived under Subaru's shadow. The pressure and jealousy slowly turned into hatred. In the end, he chose his own future instead of their friendship. He even returns the legendary artifact Subaru had lent him, saying there is no reason to keep it because the Blue Eyes Guild is about to disappear forever. Before leaving, Itsuki mockingly tells Subaru that history will remember him as a great hero, but he will never live to see it. Subaru simply smiles. Even in his final moments, he refuses to lose hope. He pulls out another legendary item called Iolos. Itsuki freezes in shock. The item creates a powerful storm that can send people flying over 10 kilometers. Subaru uses the item's last 4 charges to save his 4 surviving guild members. Strong winds blast them away from the battlefield, while Subaru shouts for them to stay alive. Itsuki immediately realizes the plan and orders his soldiers to chase them before they escape. But Subaru stands in their path. Lightning surrounds his body once again. He declares that no one will leave this battlefield. Although his fatigue has already reached 95%, he uses everything he has left to block the entire army. Itsuki nervously admits that Subaru is unbelievably stubborn. The enemy soldiers finally charge together. Even while exhausted, Subaru defeats them one after another. They are no match for the strongest hunter. Still, Subaru knows that Itsuki remains the biggest danger. Unfortunately, he is too far away, and Subaru no longer has the strength to reach him. His fatigue rises to 97%. Suddenly, one soldier attacks him from behind. Another stabs a spear through his chest. The attacker proudly believes he has finally killed the legendary Subaru. But Subaru calmly asks him if he really believes that. A huge burst of lightning explodes from Subaru's body. The nearby soldiers are thrown through the air, and many collapse instantly. Finally, Subaru falls to one knee. The remaining enemies back away in fear, calling him a true monster who refuses to die. Itsuki watches from a distance, believing Subaru's story is finally over. Subaru's fatigue reaches 99%. With the last bit of strength left in his body, he throws a spear directly at Itsuki. The weapon flies toward him at incredible speed. Subaru believes he has finally killed his former friend. Satisfied, he slowly loses consciousness. But instead of dying, he suddenly wakes up inside a dirty metal trash bin. Confused, he looks around and realizes he is no longer on the battlefield. A blue status screen appears before him. It shows a completely different identity. Hosoy Subaru, Level 1. He cannot believe it. As memories from this new body enter his mind, He learns that this young man was constantly bullied because he was weak. Then he hears someone nearby mention something impossible. They say that Narukami Subaru died 20 years ago. Subaru panics. He climbs out of the trash bin and searches for information using a player device. He quickly discovers that the Blue Eyes Guild no longer exists. It has been replaced by the Blue Zone Guild. Even after 20 years, Blue Zone has only reached the 9th floor and achieved very little. Even worse, Itsuki is still alive and is now the guild master. Subaru remembers the day Itsuki left his guild to create Blue Zone. At the time, he never imagined his closest friend would one day betray him. While walking through the city, Subaru notices a huge building called the Narukami Subaru Memorial Hall. Curious, he enters the building. Inside, he sees a giant portrait of himself. He cannot understand who built such a grand memorial. Then a large screen turns on. Itsuki appears wearing a formal suit. With a fake smile, he announces that the Blue Eyes Guild is gone forever and claims that Blue Zone is the true successor of Subaru's legacy. Hearing those words, Subaru's anger explodes. Itsuki didn't just kill him. He also stole his name, his guild, and his history. Standing before his own memorial, Subaru makes a silent promise. This time, he will uncover the truth, defeat Itsuki, and rewrite history from the very beginning. As he walks away, a small boy accidentally bumps into him and falls. Subaru quickly helps the child stand up and asks if he is hurt. When the boy looks up, Subaru freezes. The child is wearing the exact same mask Subaru used to wear when he was the strongest hero. A moment later, the boy's parents rush over and thank Subaru for helping their son, Minato. Subaru tells them the boy is fine. Then he notices something shocking. Not only that family, but almost everyone around him is wearing masks based on his old appearance. Subaru quietly touches his own face and looks around in disbelief. He suddenly remembers Itsuki's words that he would become an immortal hero after death. Now Subaru understands what he meant. The world still worships him as a hero, but Itsuki has turned his death into a tool for his own fame. Subaru notices a giant portrait of himself surrounded by flowers and candles like a grand funeral. He realizes that the entire memorial is nothing more than a fake ceremony created by Itsuki to steal the glory of the Blue Eyes Guild. While staring at the flowers, Subaru notices one special blue flower glowing with magical energy. His expression immediately changes. He pushes through the crowd and rushes toward the altar. Ignoring everyone's complaints, he kneels down and picks up the flower. The moment he touches it, he recognizes it. The flower belongs to his former guild member, Asajiri Shu. That means Shu is still alive. The story then cuts to a nearby rooftop. Shu quietly watches the memorial from above. Standing beside him is a female companion. She tells Shu that secretly placing flowers there every year is far too dangerous. Shu removes his hood and softly says that he only hopes Subaru will notice the flowers someday. The girl sadly replies that Subaru is probably dead. After all, 20 years have already passed. Still, neither of them has ever seen his body. Because of that, they continue holding on to a small amount of hope. But with Itsuki controlling everything, finding Subaru seems almost impossible. Back at the memorial, Subaru runs outside while holding the glowing flower tightly. He smiles for the first time. Now he knows that at least one of his old friends survived. Later, Subaru returns to the tiny apartment of his new body. The room is old, dark, and extremely poor. Looking around, Subaru jokes that the original owner must have lived a very difficult life. He searches for information about the Blue Eyes Guild, but finds nothing. The guild has completely disappeared from history. However, the flower proves that Shu is alive. Subaru believes Shu is hiding because Itsuki would never allow anyone who knows the truth to live freely. He also wonders if the other 3 guild members escaped safely. For now, he knows he cannot contact them. He is still far too weak. If he acts carelessly, Itsuki will find him immediately. His first goal is simple. He must become strong again. According to the memories of his new body, the player qualification tutorial is about to begin. If his old teammates are still alive, he believes he will eventually meet them again. The story then moves to the tutorial arena. A strict supervisor named Huga watches the participants. One candidate barely defeats 2 goblins before becoming completely exhausted. Huga says the player barely passed. He offers him a chance to continue for better rewards. The frightened candidate refuses immediately, saying he is happy just passing. Annoyed by his attitude, Huga threatens to fail him before ending the test. Although the player passes, Huga believes he will never survive the real tower. He thinks today's generation is weak. Only one talented candidate, the son of the famous Reinhardt family, managed to reach the 20th stage. Everyone else has been disappointing. Just then, another participant arrives. Huga checks the player's name. He notices the family name Subaru and comments that sharing the same name as the legendary rank 1 hero must be a heavy burden. As Huga begins explaining the first challenge against 2 goblins, a powerful gust of wind suddenly rushes past him. He turns around in complete shock. Both goblins have already been cut down. Blood covers the battlefield. Subaru stands calmly with his sword in hand. He smiles confidently. Over the last 2 days, he secretly tested the limits of this new body. To his surprise, this body has incredible natural talent. When the system asks if he wants to continue to the next stage, Subaru accepts immediately. He says he has no time to waste. Huga watches in complete disbelief. Goblin heads continue flying through the air one after another. The supervisor carefully studies Subaru's movements. He realizes Subaru is not simply swinging his sword. He is predicting every enemy's movements several steps ahead. His combat skills are unbelievably perfect. Huga cannot believe what he is seeing. For a moment, he even wonders if the legendary Narukami Subaru has somehow returned. Subaru continues destroying every goblin with amazing speed and precision. Without slowing down, he clears stage after stage until he reaches the 49th floor of the tutorial. Only one challenge remains: the boss battle. The ground suddenly shakes. Huge cracks spread across the arena. A gigantic monster bursts out from beneath the ground, sending rocks flying everywhere. Even Huga becomes nervous. He shouts at Subaru to stop, reminding him that he is not the legendary hero. But Subaru shows no fear. He calmly grips his weapon, steps forward, and prepares to face the powerful boss alone. The Goblin King appears with a furious roar after sensing that every goblin in the previous 49 stages has been defeated. Supervisor Huga immediately tells Subaru to surrender. He knows that no level 1 player should be able to defeat a monster this strong. Even Subaru understands that his current stats are too low to seriously damage the Goblin King's tough body. But instead of backing away, he suddenly drops his sword. Huga is completely stunned and thinks the boy has gone crazy. The Goblin King charges forward with its giant axe, but Subaru has already figured out a weakness in the tutorial arena. Just before the monster reaches him, it suddenly stops. A sharp needle has pierced its leg. Subaru kneels calmly with several throwing needles in his hand and smiles. He tells the Goblin King that before it can touch him, he will turn its entire body into a pincushion. He immediately throws the needles with incredible speed. Every single one lands perfectly, striking the monster's eyes, face, neck, and other weak spots. The Goblin King swings its massive axe wildly, but Subaru easily dodges every attack. While fighting, he remembers the training he received from his former teammate Reina. She taught him that understanding balance, rotation, and the center of gravity was more important than brute strength. She even said that in the right hands, something as simple as a pen could become a deadly weapon. Using those lessons, Subaru throws each needle with perfect precision. Soon, blood begins pouring from the Goblin King's wounds. The giant monster starts staggering as more needles sink into its body. Subaru quietly thanks Reina in his heart, knowing he could never have won this battle without her training. Watching from the sidelines, Huga finally understands Subaru's strategy. The goblin bodies and weapons from previous stages never disappear until the tutorial ends. Subaru noticed this small detail and collected every hidden weapon he could find. Instead of relying only on swordsmanship, he used the arena itself as part of his plan. Huga can only stare in disbelief. Calling Subaru a genius doesn't even feel like enough anymore. The Goblin King lets out one final roar before collapsing to the ground. Subaru calmly walks over, picks up his sword, and finishes the monster with one final strike. System messages immediately appear. Subaru becomes the first player ever to clear all 50 stages of the tutorial. He wipes the sweat from his face and jokes that putting such a monster inside a tutorial is completely unfair. Then another flood of messages appears. He receives multiple level-ups, credits, achievement rewards, and access to the tutorial shop. When he checks his points, he is shocked. He has earned 2 for 25 achievement points, far more than expected. As he browses the shop, 2 powerful weapons catch his attention. The first is the unnamed demon sword, which greatly increases attack power but drains the user's stamina and mental strength. The second is the holy sword Miranda, which reduces fatigue and allows longer battles. Subaru hesitates between the two. Then he notices an unusual F-rank skill called Wedge of Greed. Its ability is simple but incredible. It suppresses the negative side effects of skills and equipment. Subaru immediately realizes its value. If this skill works, it can remove the drawbacks of both the demon sword and his dangerous lightning ability. Without wasting time, he buys Wedge of Greed and the unnamed demon sword, spending most of his achievement points. After testing the sword, he confirms that the combination works even better than expected. Huga praises his smart choices, but admits he doesn't understand why Subaru picked such an unusual skill. He asks him to explain. Subaru, slightly annoyed, says he doesn't need to explain every decision he makes. Realizing his tone was rude, he quickly repeats the answer more politely. Huga gives him a long lecture about manners and respect, but Subaru refuses to reveal any of his secrets. He only asks the supervisor to keep everything that happened during the exam confidential. Even after their argument, Huga is impressed enough to invite Subaru to join his Nightly Way guild. Subaru politely refuses without hesitation. The rejection surprises Huga, who believed anyone would accept such an offer. Before the supervisor can continue talking, Subaru opens the system menu and teleports to the second floor. Huga watches him disappear, wondering if he has completely misjudged the young man. Subaru arrives at the bustling starting grounds, where countless players are buying, selling, and preparing for their adventures. Looking around, he reminds himself that this is his second life. He remembers the days he spent laughing with his old Blue Eyes guild around a campfire. Thinking about his fallen friends and Itsuki's betrayal, Subaru silently promises to grow stronger, find his surviving comrades, and reclaim the future that was stolen from him. With his goal clear, he heads to the training building and rents a private room to master his new sword and skill before taking the next step on his journey. After arriving on the second floor, Subaru heads to a training center to test his new equipment. An old employee asks which floor he came from. When Subaru says he just arrived, the man recommends room 1, which is made for beginners. But Subaru surprises him by asking for room 5, one of the hardest training rooms. The employee warns him that it's a waste of money and too difficult for a rookie, but Subaru politely thanks him and rents the room for 30 minutes, paying 50 credits. Everyone thinks he's crazy because the training rooms are ranked by difficulty. Inside room 5, Subaru takes out his unnamed demon sword for the first time. The moment he activates it, a huge wave of red energy bursts from the blade. The sword starts draining his health and mana to greatly increase his physical strength. At the same time, his level 1 Wedge of Greed skill activates. It reduces part of the sword's side effects and restores a little health, but it isn't strong enough to stop all the damage. Subaru still feels his fatigue increasing. He quickly realizes that level 1 isn't enough to control such a powerful weapon. Without wasting time, he spends 10,000 credits to upgrade Wedge of Greed to level 2. The next upgrade will cost 20,000 credits. After upgrading, the skill suppresses much more of the demon sword's recoil. Pleased with the results, Subaru continues testing the weapon's limits. A while later, the old employee notices Subaru leaving the room. Suddenly, he remembers that a beginner had rented room 5 and rushes to check inside. When he opens the door, he is completely stunned. The entire training room has been destroyed, looking as if a monster had gone on a rampage. Later, Subaru wakes up in his hotel room with sore muscles from his training. While resting in the hotel lobby, he realizes upgrading Wedge of Greed was the right choice. Without it, he wouldn't even be able to use the demon sword properly. He also believes that if the skill becomes stronger, it might reduce the side effects of his lightning ability as well. However, his excitement disappears after checking his remaining money. He has barely 50 credits left, while the next skill upgrade costs 20,000 credits. He doesn't even have enough money for food. Just then, he hears someone loudly talking nearby. A player is live streaming his adventure on the second floor. While chatting with viewers, the streamer suddenly receives a 1,000 credit donation. He gets so excited that he spills coffee on himself but keeps smiling and thanking the donor. Subaru watches the strange scene in confusion. After reading about live streaming on his tablet, he learns that many players earn credits through viewer donations. He finally understands why so many people have become streamers. Suddenly, someone calls his name. Subaru turns around and sees a well-dressed young man. The moment they meet, memories from his new body return. He immediately recognizes the man as Isaac. Isaac asks if Subaru has just cleared the tutorial, then mocks him by saying he's surprised someone so weak managed to pass. Subaru remembers that Isaac was the same talented player who cleared 20 tutorial stages. More importantly, Isaac bullied the previous owner of this body almost every day. He constantly insulted and beat him whenever he didn't obey. Subaru finally understands why the original owner ended up unconscious inside a trash bin. Isaac proudly brags that he broke his father's record by clearing 20 stages. He also claims the supervisor praised him and rewarded him with a B-rank skill, the highest reward anyone could receive in the tutorial. After showing off for a while, Isaac says he's going to celebrate with a drink. Subaru casually tells him to enjoy himself and starts walking away. But Isaac suddenly orders him to stop. He arrogantly tells Subaru to buy him a cup of coffee. Subaru calmly replies that he doesn't even have enough credits for himself and turns to leave. Isaac instantly grabs his arm and threatens him, reminding him what always happened whenever he tried to run away before. This time, however, Subaru doesn't show even a little fear. He looks Isaac straight in the eyes with a cold expression and calmly tells him, "Let go of my hand, if you know it's good for you." Isaac refuses to let go of Subaru's arm and warns him not to become arrogant. He insults him by calling him weak and reminds him of the old days when he used to bully him. Subaru knows that starting a fight in a crowded area would only bring trouble, so he stays calm. Isaac suddenly pretends everything was just a joke. He lets go of Subaru's arm and says he was only playing with an old friend. Then he mocks Subaru again, saying that barely passing the tutorial must have made him overconfident. Seeing Subaru's calm expression, Isaac steps closer and warns him not to think about fighting back. He reminds Subaru that his father is very powerful and hints that making someone disappear would be easy for him. After giving one last arrogant laugh, Isaac walks away, telling Subaru to be careful. Subaru feels disgusted. The man who bullied him for years still has the nerve to call him a friend. The story then explains the two main ways players become stronger. The first method is by clearing virtual tower trials. These are much safer because failure only costs players credits and progress. They don't die in real life. The second method is real-world hunting inside dangerous dungeons. Players grow much faster there, but if they die for real. Because of this, most players choose the safer virtual trials. Meanwhile, Subaru enters a dangerous orc dungeon. Several monsters are already lying dead around him. Sitting in front of a giant monster's corpse, Subaru realizes that real growth always comes with real danger. While taking a short break, he checks the latest news on his tablet. To his surprise, he finds a live streamer wearing his old mask and pretending to be the legendary Subaru. The fake streamer already has over 8,000 viewers. Subaru is disgusted that so many people are using his name for fame. Then an account named Narukami Subaru is an idiot, offers the streamer a mission worth 20,000 credits. The fake Subaru happily accepts. Even more high-paying missions appear, and the streamer keeps thanking his viewers while earning huge amounts of money. Watching this, Subaru can't help feeling frustrated. While these copycats make thousands of credits by pretending to be him, He is risking his life fighting monsters just to survive. He checks his own balance. It is still just over 50 credits. After sighing, Subaru puts away his tablet and returns to hunting because fighting is the only way he can earn money. Soon, another group of angry orcs attacks him. This time, Subaru doesn't have poison needles like before. Instead, he activates Wedge of Greed, sacrificing his own health to greatly increase his strength. With a confident smile, he says he doesn't have time to waste on weak monsters. He crushes one orc's head with a single kick before charging through the battlefield. Moving at incredible speed, he cuts through the enemies, leaps over the orc general, and defeats the dungeon boss with one clean slash. A notification appears, announcing that the dungeon has been cleared. Later, Subaru takes out his old mask and quietly looks at it. At first, he wonders if he should wear it again. Then he smiles. People are becoming famous by pretending to be Narukami Subaru. The difference is, he is the real Narukami Subaru. So he decides to start his own live stream while using his real identity and his original mask. At the headquarters of Azure Sky Entertainment, a female talent scout is watching different live streams. She suddenly shouts in frustration. Her coworker rushes over, thinking something serious happened. Instead, he discovers she is angry because another fake Subaru streamer is becoming popular. She complains that ever since the real Subaru disappeared, countless imitators have taken over the platform. According to her, these fake streamers are ruining Subaru's legacy and disrespecting the players who truly risk their lives climbing the tower. Her coworker reminds her that those streamers make the company money and asks why she stopped climbing the tower herself. She quietly admits that after Subaru died, she lost all motivation. Her dream had always been to meet him one day. Suddenly, she notices a brand new stream. The channel has almost no viewers, but the person on screen is wearing Subaru's famous mask. Her coworker laughs, saying it's probably just another copycat. But the woman can't stop staring. Every time she sees that mask, a small part of her hopes the real Subaru has returned. Just then, her coworker is fined 1,000 credits by the platform for using inappropriate language. Meanwhile, Subaru begins his very first live stream inside a second-floor starter dungeon. Only 2 people are watching. One viewer asks if this is his first time entering the dungeon. Subaru calmly answers yes. The viewer immediately warns him not to go any deeper, because beginners usually die there. At that exact moment, a bat monster suddenly attacks Subaru from behind. Without even taking his eyes off the chat, Subaru casually grabs the monster and throws it away. Then he calmly asks his viewers, "Is there really a problem with having no experience?" Subaru continues moving deeper into the dungeon, and his stream slowly gains attention. His viewer count increases to 3. One viewer praises his fast reflexes, while another named Love Money tells him not to be reckless and advises him to wait for a team. Subaru politely thanks him, but says he prefers fighting alone. His answer immediately fills the chat with mocking comments. Many viewers believe he is just another fake Subaru trying to gain attention and predict that he will die soon. Ignoring them, Subaru focuses on the next monster. A mud nymph suddenly jumps out of the ground, but Subaru easily dodges and kills it with a single strike from his demon sword. He decides to keep pushing forward to test how strong he has become. More monsters appear, and Subaru defeats them one after another, earning achievement points. Soon, a large group of mud nymphs and one-eyed bats surrounds him. Without slowing down, Subaru charges straight into them. His glowing demon sword cuts through the monsters at incredible speed, leaving viewers completely shocked. Monster defeat notifications continue appearing as he earns more rewards. While moving through the dark cave, Subaru explains that he doesn't rely only on his eyes. Instead, he listens carefully to the sounds around him to locate enemies and estimate how many there are. The viewers don't believe him. Many accuse him of pretending to be an expert even though he's supposedly just a beginner. Subaru quietly touches his old mask. He thinks that if they knew his real identity, they would understand why he knows so much. Still, he ignores the comments. He wants to collect as many achievement points as possible before leaving the dungeon. As he walks deeper into the cave, he suddenly stops. Looking up, he freezes. The entire ceiling is covered with countless one-eyed bats. At the same time, all of their glowing red eyes open together. The viewers are convinced that this is the end. Just then, someone sends a mission worth only 100 credits, asking Subaru to kill every bat in the cave. The chat laughs, saying the viewer is trying to get him killed. To everyone's surprise, Subaru happily accepts the challenge and even thanks the viewer for the reward. The story then shifts to the broadcasting company. A talent scout is frustrated over another player who gave up climbing the tower. Meanwhile, his coworker is completely focused on Subaru's stream. She excitedly watches Subaru fighting the bats, unable to believe what she is seeing. Back in the dungeon, the chat explodes as Subaru tears through the giant swarm. While fighting, he remembers something his old teammate Shu once told him. Shu admired Subaru's swordsmanship because even when he changed the direction of his attacks, his breathing and concentration never changed. It looked as if he defeated every enemy with a single perfect strike. At the time, Subaru simply replied that he wasn't thinking about anything special, leaving Shu even more confused. Back in the present, Subaru explains his strategy to the viewers. He says one-eyed bats always attack head first. When they gather in large numbers, they create openings for each other. Instead of fighting every bat one by one, he takes advantage of those openings and cuts through the entire group at once. The viewers still don't understand. Some even joke that his explanation is as obvious as saying, "You walk by moving your legs." A viewer then reminds Subaru to claim his mission reward. Subaru admits he doesn't know how. After receiving help from the chat, he finally claims the reward and earns his credits. His balance rises to around 150 credits, while his achievement points reach 118. Back at the broadcasting company, the female scout suddenly becomes even more excited. She tells her co-worker that she has never seen a beginner fight like this before. She is now convinced that the streamer might actually be the real Narukami Subaru. Her co-worker thinks she's getting carried away, but she can't stop watching. Ever since Subaru disappeared 20 years ago, she has hoped he would someday return. The scene then returns to Subaru. After clearing the dungeon, he reaches a giant gate at the very end. As he walks inside, he finds a huge wolf-like monster calmly waiting for him. The creature introduces itself as Wolf Warrior Greg. The viewers immediately recognize it. They explain that Greg is not an ordinary boss, but a gatekeeper. His job is to test players and decide whether they deserve to move forward. Many viewers admit they failed the challenge several times before finally passing. Just then, a new mission appears on Subaru's screen. Someone offers 3,000 credits if he can defeat Wolf Warrior Greg. Even Subaru looks surprised by the huge reward. The viewers doubt the person will actually pay if he succeeds. At that moment, the giant Wolf Warrior slowly stands up and looks directly at Subaru. With calm confidence, the powerful guardian asks if another challenger has come to face his test. Subaru stands face to face with Wolf Warrior Greg. The giant wolf looks at him and asks if he really came alone without a party. Subaru calmly replies that it's obvious he is by himself. The wolf sniffs him for a moment before saying that Subaru carries the scent of a great warrior. The viewers watching the stream misunderstand this and jokingly complain that the wolf is insulting them instead. Subaru remembers that wolf warriors have a special sense of smell. They don't just smell a person's body, they can sense their true nature. To everyone's surprise, Greg declares that Subaru has already passed the test and is free to continue through the gate. The viewers are completely shocked. Even Subaru is confused because this never happened in his previous life. Instead of walking through the gate, Subaru calmly says he didn't come for the trial. He came for the wolf. When Greg asks if he wants to fight him, Subaru honestly replies that someone offered him credits to kill him. The wolf smiles fiercely and says Subaru truly has the spirit of a warrior. Meanwhile, at Azure Sky Entertainment, the managers notice Subaru's stream growing rapidly. One employee reports that the stream has passed 20 viewers, but the female talent scout quickly corrects him. "It's already over 30, she says excitedly. The department head scolds them for watching streams during work instead of doing their jobs. But the woman completely ignores him and keeps reporting the increasing viewer count. Back in the dungeon, Greg prepares to attack. Subaru grips his unnamed demon sword and reminds himself to stay calm instead of overthinking. The demon sword begins absorbing his health, while level 2 Wedge of Greed suppresses most of the side effects, allowing him to fight normally. Greg suddenly attacks with incredible speed. Subaru barely blocks the first strike. The wolf immediately follows with a series of powerful attacks that force Subaru backward. Subaru quickly realizes he cannot compete with Greg through physical strength alone. Greg confidently says that Subaru is a skilled warrior, but believes victory is impossible. The viewers also think Subaru is about to lose. Soon, Subaru is pushed all the way against a wall. But instead of panicking, he quietly reminds himself that battles aren't won by strength alone. Greg charges in for the finishing blow. At the last second, Subaru bursts through the cloud of dust and counters. He calmly says that Greg's attack patterns are so simple that he could fight him with his eyes closed. He effortlessly dodges the wolf's claws and fangs before slicing across its body. Without stopping, he follows with a powerful downward slash that cuts deep into Greg's chest. Blood sprays across the battlefield. As the wolf falls, it smiles and admits that Subaru truly is a great warrior. The battle ends. System notifications immediately appear. Subaru gains 2 levels, along with increases in strength, agility, mana, and concentration. He also earns 500 achievement points. The live chat explodes with excitement. Nobody can believe a single player defeated Wolf Warrior Greg alone. Subaru quietly thanks the viewer who posted the mission and promises to make good use of the reward credits. With the Guardian defeated, the giant gate slowly opens. As Subaru walks through it, he suddenly feels a strange energy. A large system window appears in front of him. It displays many different elemental trials, including fire, ice, earth, metal, poison, soul, thunder, and several others. The viewers are amazed. Someone explains that the maximum number of available trials is 16, and the more choices a player receives, the greater their natural talent. Without hesitating, Subaru ignores every other option and selects the Thunder trial. The viewers cheer, saying Thunder perfectly matches someone pretending to be Narukami Subaru. Subaru silently confirms his choice and steps through the gate. Back at Azure Sky Entertainment, the female talent scout jumps out of her chair with excitement. She proudly tells everyone that Subaru's stream has already reached 60 viewers and that he received 13 trial options, something extremely rare. Even the department head admits that defeating Wolf Warrior Greg is an incredible achievement. However, he still believes investing in a beginner from the second floor is too risky. The talent scout refuses to give up. She boldly makes a bet. If Subaru fails to master the thunder element, both she and her co-worker will work on a fixed salary for the next 5 years. But if he succeeds, the company must immediately sign him as a streamer. Her co-worker is horrified and loudly protests, saying he was never part of this bet. The department head smiles and reminds her that only the legendary Narukami Subaru ever mastered the thunder trial. The woman confidently smiles back. Then let's find out if history can repeat itself. Amused by her confidence, the department head accepts the bet. The thunder trial begins, and Subaru suddenly finds himself in a new area. Confused, he looks around, but before he can react, someone shouts a warning and pushes him out of the way. A huge explosion shakes the ground as a giant monster crashes down. When the dust clears, Subaru sees a massive titan holding an enormous club. The man who saved him asks if he has a death wish. At the same time, the system gives Subaru a new objective: defeat the fragment of the Titan race. Subaru is shocked. He immediately realizes that this is a boss-class monster that shouldn't appear this early in the Thunder trial. Even the viewers are confused, wondering why a Titan appeared during the lightning test. Subaru quickly guesses that defeating Wolf Warrior Greg may have changed the trial. The Titan swings its giant club, smashing the ground and destroying everything around it. Subaru barely dodges the attack. Although the Titan is huge, Subaru remembers that it is actually weaker than Greg. The man who saved him earlier tells him to stop fighting and run away. Instead, Subaru decides to finish the battle as quickly as possible. He activates his demon sword and boosts his physical abilities. As the Titan attacks again, Subaru jumps aside, causing the giant club to slam into the ground. Instead of retreating, he sprints up the Titan's arm at incredible speed. The monster is completely confused. Before it can react, Subaru leaps onto its shoulder and drives his sword deep into its body. The Titan roars in pain. Annoyed by the noise, Subaru calmly delivers one final slash, killing it instantly. The enormous monster collapses to the ground. System notifications immediately appear. The fragment of the Titan race has been defeated. The system also announces that Stage 4 has been cleared. The viewers are left speechless. No one understands how Subaru managed to skip through several stages so quickly. Subaru receives multiple rewards. His level increases, and his strength, speed, stamina, and mana all improve. He also earns 4,000 achievement points. In addition, he receives 2 rare items, Titan's Heart and Thunder. The chat explodes with excitement. Many viewers have never seen anyone clear the first 4 stages so quickly or receive rewards this valuable. Soon after, the man who saved Subaru earlier runs over. The viewers identify him as Falcon. Still shocked by what he witnessed, Falcon asks Subaru what just happened. Subaru simply wipes his sword and confidently says that he came here to defeat the Titan. The viewers immediately tease him for acting too cool. The scene then moves to a peaceful village. Subaru rests inside and in while the viewers ask him to show his new rewards. Curious himself, he agrees. First, he reveals Titan's Heart. It is a ring that increases stamina and improves healing. Subaru is happy to receive such a useful accessory. Next, he shows Thunder, a rare armor. The armor increases defense, has the Thunder attribute, and can remove 1 negative status effect every day. Subaru equips it immediately. With the new armor, he begins to resemble his appearance from his previous life. Just then, new viewer missions appear. Several people offer thousands of credits if Subaru can obtain the Thunder ability. One mission alone offers 5,000 credits. More viewers quickly send similar requests. Subaru thanks everyone and promises to show them the Thunder power soon. At the same time, he wonders why so many people are waiting for him to obtain that specific ability. He starts thinking that perhaps his past self was even more famous than he realized. A knock on the door interrupts his thoughts. Falcon enters together with a knight wearing shining armor. He introduces the man as Lord Pellis, commander of the village knights. Pellis explains that Titan attacks have become much more frequent. Because of the danger, the villagers rarely leave their homes. He sincerely thanks Subaru for saving the village by defeating the Titan. Subaru humbly replies that he simply did what anyone should do. While observing Pellis, Subaru remembers that he is a brave knight who always protects the village. Pellis then reveals that his scouts have located the Titan leader. He plans to attack the enemy before it grows even stronger. Bowing respectfully, Pellis asks Subaru to help save the village. The viewers begin leaving comments, warning the commander about the coming battle. Subaru already knows what will happen. In his previous life, Pellis died during the next stage. Even knowing that tragic future, Subaru accepts the request and agrees to fight alongside him. A system notification appears. Stage 5. Survival has officially begun. As Pellis leads everyone toward the enemy's location, Subaru notices the chat becoming much more active, making it harder for him to keep reading the comments. After some time, Pellis suddenly orders everyone to stop. Ahead of them lies a sleeping Titan leader. The commander plans to distract it while Subaru attacks from behind. But Subaru immediately senses that something is wrong. He carefully looks around. Then his eyes widen. The Titan leader isn't alone. The ground suddenly cracks open. More Titans emerge from every direction. It was a carefully planned ambush. The knights are instantly surrounded. Chaos breaks out across the battlefield. Before anyone can react, one Titan grabs a knight and tears him in half, leaving everyone frozen in horror. The knights panic after seeing one of their comrades killed. Commander Pellis immediately orders everyone to retreat. One knight tries to run back and save his brother, but Pellis stops him. He reminds everyone that their families and the village are depending on them. Pellis orders Falcon to lead the remaining soldiers to safety. He then turns to Subaru and begs him to escape as well, so they can fight another day. Instead of leaving, Subaru draws his sword. He tells Pellis that he should be the one to retreat. Confused, Pellis asks what he means. Subaru explains that if Pellis stays, neither of them will be able to fight properly. If Pellis escapes with the soldiers, Subaru can fight without worrying about protecting them. Although reluctant, Pellis finally agrees. Before leaving, he thanks Subaru and begs him to survive. Once everyone is gone, Subaru faces the entire Titan army alone. He charges straight into the battlefield. Moving at incredible speed, he slips between the Titan's legs and cuts them down one after another. System notifications appear as each Titan falls, rewarding him with achievement points. While fighting, Subaru reminds himself that even if this is only a trial, he refuses to abandon anyone. Meanwhile, Pellis looks back while retreating, feeling guilty for leaving Subaru behind. The viewers watching the stream think Subaru has gone completely insane. Many say there was no reason for him to stay and fight alone. But Subaru remembers the original timeline. Pellis was supposed to die here. Now that he is stronger, Subaru believes he can change that fate. He continues cutting through the Titans one by one. Each kill gives him experience points, but Subaru knows time is running out. The Demon Sword's power cannot be maintained forever. He needs to find the real boss as quickly as possible. To get a better view, Subaru jumps onto a Titan's shoulders, slices its head in half, and uses its body as a platform. He then leaps from one Titan to another, moving through the battlefield from above. The viewers are amazed. Many compare his aerial fighting style to the legendary Narukami Subaru. While moving, Subaru receives a notification. Wedge of Greed is restoring some of his stamina and mana. The recovery gives him more time, but he knows it won't last forever. Soon, he spots the Titan that was pretending to sleep earlier. He immediately recognizes it as the true boss. The Titan leader notices Subaru and prepares to attack. Hoping his plan will work, Subaru activates his Thunderclap ability. A massive burst of thunder explodes from his body. The blinding flash and deafening sound stun every Titan nearby. Without wasting the opportunity, Subaru rushes forward. He jumps high into the air and drives his sword straight through the Titan leader's head. The enormous monster collapses instantly. System messages appear one after another. The Titan boss has been defeated. Stage 5. Survival is officially cleared. The system even calls it an extraordinary achievement. Subaru gains 2 more levels, and all of his main attributes increase again. The live stream chat explodes. No one can believe someone actually defeated the Titan leader alone. Looking up at the sky, Subaru jokingly thinks that if this were a manga, this would be the perfect ending. Unfortunately, reality is much harsher. His Wedge of Greed can no longer fully suppress the Demon Sword side effects. The recoil finally catches up to him. Subaru collapses to the ground, breathing heavily. He realizes that clearing the stage isn't enough. The Titans will continue appearing until he completes the entire Thunder Trial. Ironically, this is the same mechanic he once exploited in his previous life to farm extra rewards. Now, however, his strength is running out. The surviving Titans slowly surround him from every direction. Just as one giant Titan raises its weapon to finish him off, a terrifying bolt of black and golden lightning suddenly falls from the sky. The thunder strikes Subaru directly, creating a massive explosion that shakes the entire battlefield. Deep inside a quiet forest, Shu and Reina are living in hiding. Reina sits outside their cabin, watching something on her phone. When Shu comes outside, he asks why she is sitting there. She says the weather is peaceful and moments like this may not last much longer. Shu agrees, saying they probably have less than a year left. He notices that Reina is distracted by her phone and asks what she is watching. She shows him a live stream of a masked player calling himself Narukami Subaru. Shu is shocked the moment he hears the name. Reina quickly explains that it is only a streamer using Subaru's identity. She reminds Shu that if the real Subaru had survived, Itsuki would already be dead. Shu doesn't want to hear it and tries to walk away. Reina asks how long he plans to keep living in Subaru's shadow. Shu immediately asks why she keeps watching the stream if she truly believes the real Subaru is gone. She casually replies that she is only passing the time. Suddenly, both of them stare at the screen in complete shock. Back in the Thunder Trial, a massive bolt of golden lightning crashes down onto the battlefield. The explosion destroys the surrounding titans and fills the area with electricity. As the dust clears, Subaru stands in the middle of the battlefield surrounded by a powerful lightning aura. A system notification appears. He has successfully obtained the Thunder skill. Subaru first channels lightning into his hand before covering his demon sword with crackling electricity. As the titans charge toward him, he smiles and says it's time to fight like he used to. He swings his sword with incredible force. A gigantic wave of red energy mixed with lightning tears across the battlefield. Every titan standing in its path is instantly destroyed. The viewers are left speechless. Although the attack is devastating, it drains nearly all of Subaru's remaining energy. He realizes he used far more power than intended. His legs begin to shake. Unable to stay standing, he plants his sword into the ground to support himself. At that moment, Commander Pellis and his knights finally arrive. Pellis sees Subaru collapsing and immediately runs toward him. Subaru's vision starts fading. Just before losing consciousness, he notices Pellis rushing over and quietly says that he actually came back. Meanwhile, at Azure Sky Entertainment, the female talent scout waits nervously for Subaru's response to the company's email. Her co-workers don't understand why she is so anxious. To them, it's only a normal business offer. Unable to hide her feelings any longer, she admits that before becoming a manager, she was a devoted fan of the real Narukami Subaru. She explains that in the past, only the original Subaru possessed the Thunder ability, but now someone else has obtained it. The department head smiles. He points out that Thunder is an extremely rare power. If the streamer really awakened it, then he might be someone extraordinary. Just then, Kiojo receives a notification. He announces that the streamer has seen their email. The woman becomes excited for a moment, but her excitement disappears instantly when he reveals that Subaru ignored the message without replying, leaving everyone disappointed. Meanwhile, Hawkeyes, a famous combat analysis streamer, prepares for a live broadcast. He is known for his sharp analysis and deep understanding of players. His attention is focused on Narukami Subaru, the new player who has recently started climbing the tower. As Hawkeyes reviews Subaru's battle footage, he becomes completely stunned. Subaru only learned the Thunder skill moments ago, yet he already uses it with incredible precision. He explains that Subaru puts exactly the right amount of energy into his sword without wasting anything. His control is so perfect that he makes almost no mistakes during the fight. Hawkeyes is amazed by Subaru's talent and confidently predicts that he will become a major player. Before ending the stream, he makes an even bigger statement. In terms of skill control alone, the new Subaru might even surpass the original Narukami Subaru at his peak. Meanwhile, Subaru wakes up inside the tower's break room. The system informs him that the 6th stage is ready and that his physical fatigue has completely disappeared. However, Subaru decides to take a temporary break because his body may be recovered, but his mind is still exhausted. He checks his stream and is surprised to see that his viewers have increased to around 700 people. He wonders why so many people are watching him and tells them that he will return after taking a day off. After leaving the break room, Subaru receives a message from Azure Sky Entertainment asking him to check an email they previously sent. At first, he thinks it might be spam because he doesn't recognize the company. Later, while sitting in an outdoor cafe, Subaru searches for information about Azure Sky Entertainment. He discovers that it is a huge entertainment company that manages many streamers and invests heavily in their careers. He is surprised by how much the streaming industry has developed. While browsing online comments, Subaru also discovers Hawkeye's analysis of his battle. He realizes that Hawkeyes works with Azure Sky Entertainment. Although the streamer is famous for being blunt, Subaru admits that his analysis is actually very accurate. At the same time, Isaac is furious after reading Hawkeye's statement comparing Subaru to the original Narukami Subaru. He considers the new Subaru nothing more than a rookie who has barely reached the 2nd floor. Angry and jealous, Isaac swears that he will make Subaru pay once he finishes his current stage. When Isaac enters the cafe, he notices Subaru sitting nearby. Already irritated, he deliberately walks past Subaru and hits his table, causing hot coffee to spill onto Subaru's clothes. Isaac pretends it was an accident and sarcastically offers to buy Subaru another coffee. Subaru ignores him and tries to leave, which makes Isaac even angrier. Isaac grabs Subaru by the collar and threatens to crush him like before. Instead of getting angry, Subaru calmly tells him that he doesn't have time for pointless nonsense. He grabs Isaac's wrist and squeezes it with incredible strength. Isaac is shocked by the pain and realizes that Subaru has become much stronger. Subaru releases him and coldly says that he should consider it payment for the coffee, then thanks him for the treat and walks away. Isaac can only shout after him in frustration. He curses both Narukami Subaru and Hosoy Subaru, blaming them for pushing his anger to the limit. Meanwhile, Subaru suddenly remembers something important. He takes out his phone and prepares to reply to a message. Elsewhere, SHE is relaxing in her bathtub when she suddenly receives a message from Subaru. He asks her to meet him in person, leaving her surprised. The chapter begins inside a dark dungeon filled with monster corpses. Subaru enters the boss room, holding his glowing sword and preparing for the final battle. The system confirms that his Wedge of Greed skill is helping resist the negative effects of the Demon Blade. Subaru realizes that he is slowly becoming more comfortable with his new body. Suddenly, the flaming dungeon boss attacks him. Subaru knows he needs to discover his limits, so he doesn't repeat his previous mistake. As the fire lizard runs across the wall, Subaru charges Thunder Skill into his legs and launches himself into the air. For a moment, he remembers his old self performing the same movement. The monster fires flames at him, but Subaru moves at incredible speed, cutting through the fire and crashing into the monster. However, using Thunder Skill together with the Demon Blade causes his passive protection to weaken, making his fatigue rise rapidly. Even while suffering from the strain, Subaru continues attacking and delivers a powerful final strike. A huge explosion fills the dungeon as he cuts through the monster. The system announces that the dungeon has been cleared, and Subaru levels up, increasing his strength, stamina, and mana. After leaving the dungeon, Subaru checks his fatigue level and finds it is only 61, which is lower than expected. He realizes that he can probably increase his energy output even further. However, he becomes worried when he checks the upgrade cost for Wedge of Greed. The next level requires 40,000 credits, and the increased price feels extremely expensive. While walking through the forest, Subaru wishes that someone would suddenly offer him a good job and solve his financial problems. Just then, someone appears in front of him. It is Isaac, who approaches with a dangerous smile. Isaac says that despite knowing Subaru for a long time, the boy continues to surprise him. Subaru simply calls him persistent and annoying. Isaac admits that he has thought about everything carefully, but his anger has reached a point where he can no longer control it. He wants to settle their conflict once and for all. Meanwhile, in the city, Hawkeyes meets John, a manager from Azure Sky Entertainment, at a cafe. After some casual conversation, John reveals the real reason for their meeting. He asks Hawkeyes whether he truly meant what he said about Subaru's talent. Hawkeyes confidently explains that the rookie's natural ability is so impressive that, purely in terms of control, he could surpass the original Narukami Subaru at his peak. However, he also admits that having talent and actually climbing the tower to reach that level are completely different things. John reveals that Azure Sky Entertainment wants to recruit Subaru. Hawkeyes points out that Subaru's fame and viewer count are still too low for such a major agency. John agrees, but suggests that Hawkeyes could collaborate with Subaru to help increase his popularity. Back in the forest, Isaac continues insulting Subaru. He warns him not to think he is the legendary Narukami Subaru or believe that he can master the Thunder Skill. Subaru becomes curious about Isaac's extreme hatred. He wonders if the problem is really just because of his name, since most people don't react so strongly. Isaac suddenly brings up his father during his angry rant. Subaru is confused about what his father has to do with anything. Isaac then reveals that his father's name is Reinhardt. The name immediately shocks Subaru. He realizes Isaac is the son of the swordsman. Subaru remembers a legendary event from the past. Narukami Subaru, an earthling player who had appeared like a shooting star, once fought Reinhardt, one of the strongest swordsmen in the tower. The battle lasted less than 30 seconds and ended with a single devastating strike from Subaru. Reinhardt was left badly injured, covered in blood, and still tried to continue fighting before finally collapsing into the massive crater created by Subaru's attack. Back in the present, Isaac screams at Subaru and warns him never to disrespect that name. Subaru finally understands the real reason behind Isaac's hatred. Isaac isn't simply angry at him. He is carrying his father's resentment after Reinhardt's reputation was destroyed by the legendary Subaru. Subaru becomes angry and tells Isaac that he has no idea how much suffering Hosoy endured because of this meaningless grudge. Isaac completely loses control and angrily orders Subaru to stay quiet. Isaac's body becomes surrounded by flames as his anger reaches its limit. He declares that there is no point in talking anymore and orders Subaru to die. He openly admits that he hates Narukami Subaru so much that even thinking about him makes him sick. He also blames Subaru for making guild leaders arrogant. With a cruel smile, Isaac claims those arrogant people are now suffering in hell and deserve their fate. He then launches a massive fireball at Subaru. A huge explosion covers the area in flames and smoke. Isaac pretends to regret what happened, sarcastically claiming that he accidentally killed Subaru because he failed to control his power. He then decides that his next target will be the masked streamer. Suddenly, a voice comes from inside the flames, asking which masked person he means. Isaac looks ahead in shock as Subaru walks out of the fire completely unharmed, wearing his mask. Isaac cannot understand how he survived the attack without even a scratch. Before Isaac can react, Subaru rushes forward and punches him directly in the chest. He then slams him into the ground with tremendous force. Isaac vomits blood and realizes that Subaru has caused serious internal damage. Standing over him, Subaru asks him to figure out who is really standing in front of him. He removes his mask and gives Isaac 3 possibilities: the bullied Hosoy Subaru, the masked streamer Narukami Subaru, or the blue-eyed Narukami Subaru himself. Isaac refuses to believe him and assumes Subaru is simply claiming to be the famous streamer. He gets back up and arrogantly mocks the thunder skill, saying it cannot be that impressive if someone like him can learn it. Isaac forms fiery claws and claims that mastering the skill proves he has already surpassed the original Narukami Subaru. He then charges at Subaru with a powerful fire attack. But Subaru moves at incredible speed and cuts off Isaac's arm with a single sword strike. Isaac freezes in terror. Subaru calmly tells him that his answer was wrong. Only then does Isaac realize the truth. The person standing before him is actually the real Narukami Subaru. But the realization comes too late. Subaru delivers another powerful slash, cutting Isaac in half. As Isaac falls, Subaru puts his mask back on and says that Isaac should consider it payment for borrowing his friend's body. The scene then shifts to a quiet cafe where people keep staring at Subaru because of his mask. Subaru thinks about his future as a streamer and decides that he will continue hiding his face from his viewers. Soon, Hatsuka arrives and nervously apologizes for being late. She introduces herself as the person Subaru contacted. Subaru shakes her hand and introduces himself using his streamer name. After looking at him carefully, Hatsuka realizes that he looks exactly like the real Subaru. She becomes stunned, but Subaru interrupts her and asks if something is wrong. She remembers her boss's warning to make a good first impression and realizes she has already failed. Subaru then asks whether she was a fan of the original Narukami Subaru. She immediately becomes extremely excited and admits that she is a huge fan. She also explains that she has followed Subaru's stream since he had almost no viewers. Subaru is shocked by how much she remembers. She knows details about his early streams that even he has forgotten. Beneath his mask, Subaru smiles as he remembers how inexperienced he was when he first started. She becomes emotional and says that meeting him feels like destiny. She reveals that she actually begged her company to let her become his manager. After calming herself down, she becomes professional and presents Subaru with a contract. She explains that the agency will increase the value of his brand through advertisements, stream clips, and other promotional work. Subaru asks what he needs to do in return. SHE simply tells him to keep streaming exactly as he already does. Subaru is surprised that being a streamer could be this easy. WA explains that he is being treated especially well because he is the first person to master the lightning skill, and everyone at the company, including the department head, thinks highly of him. Subaru then asks whether all the managers at her company are like her. SHE misunderstands the question and starts explaining that the other managers are much cooler and more capable than she is. Subaru, meanwhile, wonders if the average level of players has become so high that even someone like she has to work as a manager. He realizes that he will probably encounter much stronger players in the future and decides that he needs to increase his pace. Seeing him lost in thought, she becomes worried that he might reject the contract. Instead, Subaru offers her his hand and says that she seems like someone he can trust. She becomes so happy that she nearly cries before finally shaking his hand.